Hello everyone, here we are again in the Kids Health Revolution kitchen. Welcome back. This time though, in the kitchen, we are not cooking anything up, but we are talking about one of the many things that I invest in to help improve my son's health. I have been asked these questions many times by people that I've worked with in my practice and just people I run into in everyday life. What are some of the most important things that you're investing in to help make this improvement? Because let's face it, some of these things are going to cost some money. And so I've been doing these videos, a video series. We have covered things like body care products. We talked about the air filter we invested in and a few things like that. And today I'm back in the kitchen because one of the most important investments that I make for my son's health is in the food that we eat. We eat a very whole foods diet. We eat a gut healing diet, but we also focus on the majority of our diet being organic food. And I'll tell you why that's important to us. My son is genetically compromised in his ability to detoxify some substances. And so that means that if he's getting a lot of pesticide residue and things like that in his food, then it is just burdening down his body. And what we want to do when we're trying to help improve our children's health is lift as much of the burden off of their body as we possibly can. Lift as much of the stuff that's sort of bogging them down and causing or contributing to an inflammatory state in the body. So that can be in our environment, and it can also be in the food that we eat. So we eat, I would say 90 to 95% organic for our produce as well as for our meats. So I try and buy our meats, not necessarily certified organic, but definitely grass-fed and grass-finished, pasture-raised, antibiotic and hormone-free, all of those sorts of things, because again, we want the food to be in its purest, most nutritious, most wholesome state it can be in. So the organic produce, yes, costs a little bit more. For us, it's worth the investment. We're fortunate that we're able to make that investment. It does mean that we sacrifice a few other things, right? We're not investing in the HBO channels and the every streaming channel you can get and all of those things. We have a basic cable package and Netflix, and that's it. We don't live in a really fancy house, and we drive our cars for quite a long time before we replace them. I keep my phone for a long time before I replace it. Just some of those things. There are choices that we make so that we can afford to buy the kind of food that we know is really going to nourish our child's health. Now, with that said, I know that sometimes even then, buying purely organic food is just simply not economically approachable. And unfortunately, we are still at the place where this type of food is very expensive. So if that is the case, when I'm working with, hi Vivian, it's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're watching. If I'm working with a family that can't afford to buy all organic food, then there's a certain order of priority that we talk about. So when it comes to produce, a very valuable tool to use is the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So that's put out by the Environmental Working Group. And they go through every year and make a list of the products that have the most pesticide residue on them. So it can be fruits or vegetables that have a peel, and so oftentimes we'll think about those ones as being the highest in pesticide residue, but this actually looks at how it metabolizes it through the entire fruit or vegetable. So that's handy to know. So usually apples are on that list, so that's something I always recommend that people try and buy organic as much as possible. And that's not too bad when you can get to a farmer's market and buy them in season. Berries are another one. So, and berries through Superstore tend to be a little bit more affordable than some of the other places. Costco, I believe, also has some fairly affordable organic berries. Also, frozen berries are a great way. Frozen organic berries are a good way to get them at a little bit less of the cost. So the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 is going to tell you a list of the foods that have the most pesticide residue. So you would want to try and focus on buying those. Organic, at least, the top 3 especially. And then the other produce you can buy more conventionally raised or farmed. The other thing that I would recommend, especially if you're doing some sort of gut healing protocol where you are doing soups and stocks and things like that, is to try and get your meat from as clean a source as you possibly can, because toxins are stored in the fat of an animal. So you want to try and make sure that that animal was raised in the most healthy environment it could be, so that that nutrition is then passed on to you, right? If you can get wild game, even better. But knowing your farmer and knowing where your meat is raised and produced is a really good thing to do. And I often recommend for people who are in Alberta that you contact Cohen Farms. There's Lucens. There is so many different farmers from the Alberta area that I could recommend and say are really doing a great job. TK Ranch is another one. I believe it's Grass Raised, or I can't remember the name of one of the other ones I'm thinking of, but a really good resource to use for that is to go to the slowcalgary.ca, or whatever your city happens to be, wherever you live. You can go to the Slow Edmonton website, or the Slow Victoria website, or the Slow Seattle website, Slow Food Calgary. And they have a list of different farm gate vendors, and that way you can find where these people are, contact them, talk about their farming practices, talk about how they raise their animals, and then make purchases directly through those farmers. It saves you a lot of money opposed to buying it in the store. So that way you can invest in the really good stuff, you stock it up in your freezer, you've got it, and you're not having to blow the bank to do it. Now with Cohen Farms, for example, their meat, I believe, we priced it out that to buy an entire steer or half a steer cost us about the same outlaying the money all at once as it would if we went to Costco and just stocked up on a quarter steer's worth of beef, right? So it can be pretty comparable. It's just that you're outlaying the money all at once. But then you've got it in the freezer and you don't have to hit the store as often. So that is one of the things that I really I recommend that people do when they're looking at trying to help their little kiddos in improving their health, is looking at going as clean as you can with your food. So that means buying some things organic. It means getting some of your meats from cleaner sources. And that might mean balancing the books with a few other things like we do. But it's absolutely doable, and I really believe that it does make a difference. My hope for the future is that this will become the norm instead of the exception, and so then the prices of some of these things will start to come down. But there you go, you guys. That's one of the things that I choose to invest in for my son's health. If you have things that you invest in that you think are really important for changing your kids' health, please, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Community of parents, of people who are on the same journey and doing things is one of the best ways for us to learn from each other and grow and figure out things that, oh, hey, that's a really good idea. I can try that. And talking to each other and sharing is one of the best ways to do that. So if you are watching from regular Kids Health Revolution land and you are not yet over on our wonderful private group, I hope that you will join us in the private Kids Health Revolution Facebook group. We have a lovely group of parents over there asking questions, giving each other answers. I'm in there answering questions as much as I can. And that is also where I post the recipes for the school snack series. And just love over there. So I hope you'll come over and join us over there as well. And that's it for today, you guys. If you have questions about this video, anything to do with organic food or anything to do with this journey I've been on to help my son, I would love to hear it. Again, post it in the comments below and I'll scroll through and answer those questions. Other than that, would love it if you gave this video a little like. You could share it from Kids Health Revolution World if you think there's anybody out there that could use to hear it. And I will talk to you guys again on Friday with a revolutionary recipe for stuffing those lunch kits full of all the goodness we need so our kiddos can keep improving their health. Talk to you soon. Thanks for the heart. Bye.